It's one of the hardest cups to win because of the competition and all the teams.
That whole season, there was no NHL, so everything was looking down on the junior hockey.
Our game plan was, we had a couple pretty good drafts. Our Corey Perry draft that year, and then we just kind of were building for that. Like we were building for a couple years toward it.
We all came in as a young team, a bunch of 17-year-olds, and when the building was built here, it was our first year, and we upset a few teams, and then the second year, I think we were #1 team in Ontario for sure. I'm not sure if Canada. We ended up getting beaten out by Guelph, and that was sort of, we knew we had a chance of doing something good. And then the following year, we were all 19-year-olds, the same team from 3 years prior, and obviously hosted it and started off with a really phenomenal year and kept it going right into the finals.
We want to make sure we had a real good team. We built for that year there. Corey Perry could have been gone to Anaheim, early because of his ability, but it's like everybody was here, so it was a great competition to try to get out of the OHL, let alone win the Memorial Cup. Mark did a good job, drafting through the years, getting good players.
I think it sort of rolled over from the year prior when we got beat by Guelph in Game 7. Where we thought we had a chance of, maybe winning a Memorial Cup that year. Off-season was tough because you knew you had a chance of doing something great, and we got eliminated. So we sort of carried that over right into training camp, and then, we obviously had a really strong team and a building full of people, and it was a pretty fun experience to be a part of.
We're a skilled team. We believe in skill, and everybody thought when I was going to coach, we're going to have a rough and tumble team. But we had some guys that could take the body and hit. But we're a skilled team, and we believe in skill and developing the skill part of the game. You definitely need skill and character. I think that's the biggest part for us. That you got to have character on your team and that want to win and put. And when you play a big tournament, sometimes you're in a different role that you want to be, and you have to sacrifice for your team to try to check down Sid the Kid and play a role that helps the team win.
It was exciting because it was the lockout. We realized the guys that we played together for 3-4 years were all going to have a good shot at it. Knowing what type of team we're going to have coming back. Guys like Corey Perry will be back, stuff like that. So I think it was exciting. Obviously, we didn't think we were going to do what we did, but I think it was just more knowing that no one's going to be leaving. We were together right from the beginning, right from August 24th. It was not like anyone was going to camp or anything like that. So, it was a good camaraderie. We were together forever. It was a fun start to it.
You want to win everything. You want to win every game. And so we never really had, our team was built strong enough that we always had guys pulling each other. We were sort of self-sufficient in the locker room. We didn't need anyone sort of cracking the whip on us. We knew it internally what we needed to do. We knew we were a strong team and had the ability to do something great. I think the start of the year helped us build for the playoffs.
It's really hard. It's a special trophy, and for these young men trying to win, and it's fun to watch them, the excitement, the downs, the ups. It's the way it is, and that's where sports is. That's why it's exciting.
I learned just being around Mark and Dad, and that's what they're very good at, is understanding the feel of a room and being able to manipulate lines, combinations, and penalty kills and power plays to go with that personality. He has an exceptional feel for the room.
He always wants to learn. He wants to teach kids on how to be professionals.
It's about managing a room and being able to get your point across. There's always going to be guys that aren't happy, and guys that are really happy, and it's getting them to play together and staying together, not losing your team identity, and I think that's what he's good at.
When we did go on that long streak, it was every team wanted to be, David beating Goliath. So we knew every building we went into and every team that came in, they were on top of their game because they wanted to knock off the London Knights off their little pedestal. And so that sort of helped us prepare for playoff style hockey. We had a pretty deep team, and we were fortunate enough to stay healthy, and it's tough to compete with a team that's going to roll all lines and have scoring in all aspects. So we sort of kept running through that throughout the playoffs. We had a lot of leaders on the team for sure, and like I said, we were pretty self-sufficient in the locker room.
The term that they always use is we want to go in the front door. Hosting was secondary. We knew that we were going to be in the Memorial Cup, but we wanted to win an OHL championship. It was wild. Like we're front page of the newspaper pretty much daily. I want to say the whole sports section was dedicated to the London Knights and the Memorial Cup. So it was definitely really cool.
We had to play Sid the Kid with Rimouski, and it was like, we knew they were special. And even at the deadline, we added a couple more players because we thought that Mark went and watched Rimouski play. Goes, ooh, they got a good team. It's one thing to get there. The best thing is to win it.
After the year that we had previous, we hated London. Hated everything about them. We wanted to ruin the streak every chance that we had. So they had a target on their back right from day one. And you know what? To their credit, they showed up every night, and they were the team to beat for a reason. So to be traded there was definitely strange. At least being weird going into that dressing room for the first time would be an understatement. I was nervous. Definitely nervous. I mean, in the heat of battle, you say things to guys on the other side that you sometimes would regret, and you don't expect to play on the same team as them so soon. But you know what? That's the magic of hockey. Is the guys welcomed me right away. I became part of the team. That team had a mission. They knew what they wanted to do, and they had their goal set in place. They knew they were hosting the Memorial Cup. So going in, it was all strictly business. We knew what we were there for, and we had a job to do.
We wanted to do it, the right way, not have any free breaks on it. To kind of just challenging ourselves, really. Sometimes you get a little lax if you know you're going to be there anyways. It was incredible. I mean, it was a perfect storm, not just with our team. Our fans have been great, and it's having games that you're going to see future NHLers play in the NHL next year. They did a good job of insulating us. We instead of staying in our billets, we all stayed at a hotel downtown here. At the time, I think it was good for the whole year of not having NHL. The scrutiny was on us, especially with the streak at the beginning. We're used to having, the Sportsnet games and TSN and, a lot of interviews every week. So I think it wasn't too bad that way. We were kind of used to that, just the pressure and the spotlight overall. Dealing with it. I mean, obviously, once you get to it, there's a lot more than, biggest stage we've been on, but it was good. We were an older team, so I don't think we got wrapped up in it as much.
I think we all knew as a group that once we got our legs under us, we could do it, and it just shows that how our team was. We had 4 lines that could play, we had 6D that could play, and we had 2 goalies that could play. So I think that was really one of the keys to our team, was anybody could do it on any night, and you know what, when things weren't going, we had that belief that we could come back and pull through. I think the way the team was put together, there was a real good solid core from some of the previous drafts, but the guys that had been brought in as well. So I think that there was a confidence in one another, as well as that confidence internally. So the guys knew that they could do it themselves, but they also knew that they had guys that they could rely on. So if there was any pushback on teammates, it was all constructive, it was all positive.
As the season went along, the media attention got bigger and bigger. So, once the Memorial Cup came, it was, there was a lot of talk about Sidney and a lot of talk about our team, a lot of nights. So, to face off against them in the first game, I remember we won in overtime, and then in the finals we played them again.
It was full, and the fans. It's been, we've. Great London teams, but we never participated in it, and the fans made it special here to win it here, and playing a great team. To win in the finals.
It's tough being a London Knight because there's all this pressure. There's 9,000 people that expect a winning team every time, and as a visitor, it's one of the funnest things to do is to go in there and play spoiler. So it was definitely a different mindset having the fans behind you this time. I think it was a big part of that team's success, and still a big part of that team's success today. It was tough to ignore all the distractions. I think we went down 3-0, and I can't remember if it was in the first period or how early it was, but it was kind of a whirlwind, and I was just praying, hoping that they'd leave me in the net to give a chance to get back in it.
We all know how special Sid the Kid is, and they had a good team around them too. So it was a good competition. That's what it's all about. It is not easy to win, but you love the competition because it gets your fires burning in your belly.
We were sort of a pretty well-oiled machine at that point, but Yeah, the first sort of eye-opening experience was our first game here to open the Memorial Cup. We played against Rimouski, and they came out. I think they went up on us early, and it was sort of like, wow, because you can watch them in video as much as you want, but you don't really have a sense of feel of how fast they are, how they move the puck, how efficient they are. And that was sort of like, okay, we got our work cut out for us. We didn't come in thinking we were going to steamroll everyone, but that was an eye-opening experience for us for sure. Early on, Dale altered our lineup a little bit to have a strict defensive matchup against Sidney's line. And the first game we had played against them, we won 4-3 in overtime. And I don't want to say we came out slow, but we came out tentative as a team. There was a bit of a feeling out process to see how good is Crosby, how good are his line mates, how good do they play together, are they quick? We had that little bit of a feeling out process in the first period of the first game, and we didn't want to let that happen again in the finals. We came out and played a really strong defensive game, and obviously went on to win the World Cup.
He was our number one center, and we needed him to be that, and he can play both sides of the puck, which is ideal if you're going to go against Sid the Kid.
Exciting time. It was great. It was fun. And then the Mem Cup having to go against Sidney Crosby. Obviously, I think it was a perfect storm there again of just having a top tier guy and all the eyes of the hockey world are on you. Obviously, they had that top line. I mean, it's you shut them down, you have a good chance of winning. It was good that we saw them in the first game. It wasn't like there was pressure. We already kind of saw what they did. They saw what we did. So we understood at that point that we were comfortable playing against them.
Early on, Dale altered our lineup a little bit to have a strict defensive matchup against Sidney's line, and that sort of worked well for us. It allowed the other three lines to go out and sort of play against the rest of their team. As long as we could neutralize him doing that, it worked in our favor.
It's tough on they're young kids, and it's one game takes all. So everybody, you don't have to even say much because they were all pumped up. They knew what they had to do, and they were it was quiet, kind of quiet before the storm, and to come in and play as well as we did in that final with Adam Dennis playing really well for us, and our D were solid, and up front we got time to score.
There, two good teams going at it. You never really know, which way it's going to go. So we figured we had a good plan, and just see what happens. When you're playing, you don't realize how hard it is to get there. You just kind of assumed we were going to do it. It was so you have a lot more confidence when you're a player. Yeah, you're insulated more.
I knew that everybody was going to be ready to do their job. I wanted a chance to do what I could do. I think that our team just took the approach that we've been preparing all year for this moment, and our guys were ready. From Corey Perry taking the punch and nobody retaliating, we get a big power play, and then we go and score on it, and we really didn't look back from there. We had Brian Rodney score a big goal, Robbie Schrem score a big goal, and I think start to finish it was a true team game. We had the best player in the world playing against us, but we took a team approach to shutting him down. I didn't want to loosen my gloves to throw him off too early, just in case that you never know in junior hockey. So having that lead, I just wanted to make sure that we kept it. And the shutout was so out of my mind at that point. I wanted to get that win and be able to hoist that trophy after getting that second opportunity.
More, you believe in yourself, believe in your teammates. You kind of overlook the fact that you've just beat out 60 teams, to be the best, and it's a magical thing. For me, it boils down to just the camaraderie with the guys. It's once you get to that level, when you get to the finals or the conference final, your best four teams in any league, you're all good. You'll have good players, you have good systems, you have a good coach. It's the ones that you just kind of you die by with each other. You work with each other. You're friends. It's not so much individuals. It's it's a 20 guys that are eating together, hanging out together, wanting to be apart with each other, and that's what makes a winning team, puts you over the top.
I just remember grabbing it and feeling so excited and honored to have won a Memorial Cup, and as quick as I could, I wanted to get it into the rest of the guys' hands.
Win that Memorial Cup, it started 3 years before where, we were just scratching to make the playoffs with these young kids, and then to come at the end and they get the reward by winning it all.
It's these bonds that you make with the guys that you're playing with. It's truly the fun part. The older you get, you realize how close you really were.
Well, I think we had just all sort of grown up together. Those are big growing stages in your life. 16 to 20, you did everything as a team, and I think that's what London does a really good job of, and I think that's what sort of helped us in being able to play for one another. And then obviously when we did win the Memorial Cup, it was just like we won it as a team. It's special, and I think a lot of us come back to London because that time, that 2005 year, was very special to all of us.
I think when a team can put their mind to something, regardless of the characters, regardless of the ego, regardless of the skill, when you got 23 guys that have one focused goal together, and it doesn't matter who's leading the charge, who's going to be the hero, you could accomplish some pretty special things. I think that team, they you know, start to finish, they went in with one goal in mind, and they weren't going to be denied.
If you look at that team, I think there was a lot of guys that you know, either played in the American League or the NHL. I think a lot of them actually played a couple games, or if not more, in the NHL. And there's some guys on that team that won Stanley Cups, and it's something that, you know, everybody's going to remember in London, and I think in all of Canada. You know, to have your name on the Memorial Cup, that championship's so hard to win. You only have a couple years to do it, and to be a part of that team, to have, you know, your name on there for life, it's pretty special.